Most industry bodies here and associations recognize the need as well as the importance of economic benefits of women's participation. We are no longer talking about the need or not the need of including women in the economy. It's a given. That is a given. That it no longer needs debate. It no longer needs discussion even. And it must be a default position at all times. And it's good that there's been agitation, there's been insistence, there's been talk, and the raising of consciousness and awareness. It is paying dividends. Well, it is paying something that gives us great attention and enables us to do something about it. The dividends we will see later. The strategies to include women-owned businesses and women in various sectors of our economy, value chains or supply chains, is now a matter of just giving full effect to it. Those industry bodies that spoke here that have already started moving forward, we want to encourage them to move even faster, to even be bolder, and to implement the plans that they spoke so glowingly about here. However, there are those that have not yet done anything about developing any gender transformation strategies, and we would like them to start and begin to craft those strategies and to develop even pilot moments or initiatives, and thereafter proceed to implementation. Now, I'm not going to be able to speak on each because I was hugely impressed with what I heard here today. And I'll just single out a few of those that come really to mind. And I'd like to applaud the action plan by the Sugar Transformation Fund, because you spoke about a figure that rang music in my ears, to invest 200 million annually in transformation initiatives or in interventions. That is fantastic. I am also encouraged by the Automotive Industry Transformation Fund that is looking at a minimum of 30% funding allocation to women-owned businesses in component manufacturing. Now, what is this going to mean? It's going to mean that as I get into my car, I will now know that you contributed to the making of the various components in the car, the seats, the carpet in the car. Not only that, but the hardcore other parts, the carburetor, and a whole lot of other things. You will have contributed to enable women-led businesses to make the carburetor of my car. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And also encourage the women to also get into dealerships and to also have authorized repair facilities that are women-led. As I told you, women are now getting into all manner of businesses, all manner of endeavors in society. Our women are getting into. Let us empower them and let us enable them to do so. This will undoubtedly promote our efforts to also localize industry and increase our production capacity in manufacturing. Now, one of the areas that has really gone down in terms of contribution to our GDP is manufacturing. We need to re-industrialize our country. We need to reboot our manufacturing capability, and what with the automotive sector, the sugar sector, agriculture, going to be able to fund women and empower them and enable them to get into this. I encourage boldness. I encourage massifying what we need to do Don't do one and think that you've done enough. Do as many as possible so that we are able to spawn as many women-led businesses as we possibly can. The Women Economic Assembly Planning Committee has clearly stated the need for an ecosystem to support the participation of women. And this, in my view, is important. For instance, across the agricultural value chain, direct investment should be able to lead to targeted micro-production sites, processing plants, distribution facilities, and enable women to process their goods as well as their markets. So that ecosystem needs to be created, to be built, and to come into life. And such facilities would benefit women in a number of other sectors, in sugar, in poultry, in cotton, and just to name but a few. And this could be opening channels of partnership and collaboration and cooperation between the private sector and the public sector. And this is where the intersection, a wonderful intersection, could happen. And I'd like to encourage Agri-SA, working with the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, to explore this strategy and to help develop a model that can work for the South African context. Another area that I hear from the industry is targeted training and skills development. Now, these are non-financial areas that my sister, Ms. Mabuza, was talking about. We must now shift from general training to industry-specific training needs. If we want our economy really to take off, let us be focused in our training. Let us train our young people in a focused manner so that they are able to acquire really good technical skills that will enable them to be more employable. Whatever those skills are, however they can be acquired. And sometimes we think that the skill must be acquired either at university or at a TVET college. And if, as employers, we are able to craft really good courses and package them and do on-the-job training, and do what the Germans have done to good effect. And what the Germans have done is also spreading to a number of countries. This training on the job and experiential training, where we should have, yes, the academic, and balance that with on-the-job training to chisel into shape the skills that our young people should be getting and have that balance of work and academic learning. For instance, women in the energy sector have already indicated the need for a South African energy training center or an incubator. And that already shows that the hunger for skills is deep, and that is the one that we need to address. Likewise, women in the automotive sector have said that their skills have to do with the technical know-how of manufacturing automobiles and also running dealerships. Therefore, I think this is a great start, a particularly great start. And what you are doing today here is also going to allow others to emulate what is being done here. For instance, to hear a body like the Southern African Stainless Steel Development Association identifying training, mentorship, and capacity building as a core intervention. Before today, I had never heard of this association, but I heard how progressive they are, how forward-looking they are. It basically means that they can be a trailblazer. They will be able to show the other associations how all this can be done. Because this training should aim to develop women and young people with a particular interest and expertise in steel manufacturing, as my sister was saying here earlier. Some policy areas have also been identified as needing attention in what was being said here. Our Department of Mineral Resources and Energy has spoken about the great initiative to provide opportunities for new entrants in renewable energy and launch the Women Empowerment Gender Equality Strategy. Now, that too, at a government department level, demonstrates real progress. And as Minister Nkwana Mashabane and her department have continued to preach the message about the empowerment of women, the message is sinking in deeper and deeper in various levels of government, and it is being absorbed, and it is beginning to turn into the real action that needs to be taken on an ongoing basis. We also need to consider matters related to industry charter and adaptations in our procurement systems. I would also like to highlight a few additional points that will be important as we embark on this journey. We are committed at government level to ensuring that our preferential procurement target of 40% towards women empowerment is reached within the public sector. Now, we announced this. Now, it is going to gain traction. It was important that we should set a target. And having set that target, we are priming various departments in government now to be much more aware that as we procure, we've got to ask ourselves, are we procuring this from women-led businesses? But more importantly, are we going to go out there and support and help women-led businesses to be in a position where they can take advantage of the empowerment and procurement opportunities? And this is where the real empowerment will take place. And this is a path that is also strewn with a number of risks, because where there is laziness, there may be ways of cheating. And this is where we will be watching the process like hawks to make sure that the empowerment that is enabled or that is delivered to women is real empowerment. And it should not be fly by night. It should not be fronting. It should be the real empowerment of the women of our country, without any doubt. We will therefore continue to implement this program, and we want to see it growing and growing in strength. In the second session, I'm told, you will hear about the tangible interventions and initiatives taken to prioritize women. The work that the Women Economic Assembly team has started comes at an important time when we need to move with greater urgency and with purpose to address, yes, the aftermath of COVID-19, to address the poverty that continues in our country, the unemployment and the inequality. The task that you have now taken on is a huge task, but it is a collective task. All of us must get involved in addressing this task. We must remember that these interventions, if well implemented, will directly and positively impact on the lives of women and men in South Africa through job creation. Therefore, we must be encouraged to take bold action towards transformation and use it as a lever to expand, yes, our manufacturing base, to expand our economic growth. I am grateful that the co-chairs of the Women Economic Assembly have taken this initiative, but I also want to thank them for the leadership that they have shown in bringing this initiative to reality. I'd like to applaud you and thank you for having had that foresight. I am honored, really, to sit here today with the formidable and visionary women of the NSP Pillar 5 who have been working tirelessly to achieve this result. I also would like to say, for me, it's a great pleasure to have sat here in the presence of Usisi Zanele Mbeki, a trailblazer in the empowerment of women in our country. Not only the empowerment of women, but the financing of women business and ordinary women at the bottom there. She has shown that it can be done, and she has demonstrated to all of us that women are not only great business leaders, but they pay their debts, they pay their loans. So if you are a financier, give money to women, they will return it manifold. I want to congratulate the leaders of industry and heads of government departments for the excellent work that you have done so far, and I look forward to seeing the impact of the progress that you have made. The South Africa that we aim to build in the end is a South Africa that is marked by resilience, the resilience of its people. It is also marked by the commitment that the people of South Africa have always demonstrated. But it is also marked by the innovation that we always demonstrate. When my sister, Ms. Mabuza, was speaking here and talking about how she's going to try and convince her board to craft various innovative ways of collateralizing debt and all that, or assets, I said, here is an innovator. Women are great innovators, and it is good. It is good that we should do so, and to hear a head of a development financial institution like the IDC speaking in those terms means that we are indeed, even at the public sector level, taking the empowerment of women quite seriously. And in this administration and this government, the empowerment of women is one of the key priorities, because I am convinced that if we really want to see our economy growing, we should be empowering the women of our country. And thank you very much that this initiative has demonstrated that if we massify what we are doing, indeed, we can do a lot more than what has been done in the past. Let's get on with it and empower the women of our country. I left the note.